Hello, Vol Nation. Welcome to another episode of Believe in Tennessee Football. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Kerbison, joined with Reed Bacon. Have another amazing podcast. Before we get into that, y'all, please, if you're watching, like and subscribe. It takes no time for you, but it means the world to us. Leave a comment. If you're just listening, rate and review, download and re-download. Leave us that 5 stars. It helps us. And we have merch. So go buy some of our merch. How we doing, bud? T-shirts in orange and white. Support us and support the Vols. On this week's podcast, we go over the Tennessee versus Kentucky game. What do we think about this basketball team? And pretty crappy loss, I would say, over this past weekend. Then we're talking transfer portal. A couple of guys leaving the team and what that means for us. And then a few that are coming in. Last Monday, we had a big day of transfer portal guys. So we watch their film. We break it down. We tell you what we think about them, how they're going to fit into this team. So exciting stuff. Going to be a great pod. Let's jump into it.
The game. Snap. The kick is in the air, and the kick this time is no, sir-ree. No, sir-ree. Final score, Tennessee 20, Florida 17. Pandemonium reigns.
Loads up, fires long for the end zone. The pass is going to be caught by Tennessee. Tennessee wins! Caught it by Tennessee, Juwan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch in the end zone on the Hail Mary.
Down to the 35, to the 40, to the 45, to the 50, to the 45, to the 40, to the 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. What did he do? All he did was score. Joey Pence, touchdown on play number 1.
All right, so before we jump into the podcast, got to shout out our number one sponsor, betonline.ag. It is the place to go for betting. It is your number one source for betting. They have all the odds, all the team totals, all the parlays that you could ever want, and they cover every sport. You got NFL, you got NBA, you got tennis, you got golf, you got baseball, you got everything you could think of. It is the place to go if you're going to bet on anything and make anything exciting. So for first-time signups, go over to betonline.ag, and for a 50% welcome bonus, use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, at checkout and receive that 50% welcome bonus. Bet online, where the game starts. All right, welcome in, everybody. I got another amazing podcast today in a different location as we speak. We're going to be talking about the Tennessee-Kentucky basketball game, a lot of transfer portal stuff. But first, Reed, how we doing, bud?
Yeah, we've recorded, we've recorded in,
your parents' living room.
Yes, we've done my parents' living room, aka where I live now. We've recorded in my old house living room. I've recorded in my old house office. We've recorded in your old
apartment bathroom. I recorded in a closet. I recorded in living room, and then also did like the little office space downstairs.
Yes. And then we did the office stairs, our office space upstairs one time. Now we are in Nashville.
The content's what matters.
Yeah.
Not the location.
Yeah, but we're all over the place. At some point we hope to maybe have a studio or an office one day.
It'd be nice.
We would already if we
were professionals.
Or if we lived in the same city. But that's why we are together now, because I'm over here in Nashville for the next, a couple weeks or however long. Renting an apartment. As you can see, it's furnished. Obviously, I didn't buy this stuff.
So it's not your taste?
No. So I'm over here in Brentwood, and where I used to live, and they have a guest suite. So what's up? I'm the guest, and Kyle's here, like I said. So, it was a great weekend. Friday night, hung out, relaxed, chilled at the house with my parents. And then last night, and still in Knoxville, Georgia put on like a casino game night up at the country club. So I usually we see all those same people over and over, so I would not have gone. I would have stayed home watching the game. but I want to go up there, support my sister. It was a good turnout, fun time. Then woke up, went to Mass today, and then drove over here to see your smiling face. And we got some good stuff to talk about.
Oh, I know. But that's one of the things in the offseason that's so worrisome is you've run into weeks where shit just doesn't happen. And you're like, oh, crap, what the hell are we going to talk about? No one wants to hear about our weekends for 45 minutes. But I had a good weekend as well. Fridays, we usually go out to eat, me and my wife. But she said, I feel like a takeout kind of day and just sit in.
I love takeout night.
She got sushi and your boy got pizza
I know
of
that.
course.
Where'd you get?
Domino's.
Nice.
Yeah. Just got Domino's and some wings to go with it.
Were they good?
Crushed it. The wings were okay.
But
the pizza was great.
Yeah.
I got me a medium pepperoni, crushed it. Then had 8 wings, crushed them.
Boneless or traditional?
Traditional.
You're not a boneless guy?
Bro, give me it.
Those are more like nuggets to you?
They are nuggets. They're not fucking wings. We can have this damn debate if you want.
No, I'm not going to argue that. I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm not going there to get chicken nuggets. I'm going there to get wings.
I feel you.
I
feel you. There's times where, and I know I'll take the slander. I love Buffalo Wild Wings, even though I know their service is pathetic. They screw up. They'll order half the time. You really have to stay on top of them. And I don't eat there enough to be frustrated with it.
Yeah, you're not a.
But it's like a cheat meal for me every once in a while. But I do go. I'll go like 12 traditional wings, and I also do 12 boneless because I like the best of both worlds. So because I get a little hankering for either of them. So
sometimes, and it very rarely, if I'm getting a very saucy wing and I don't want to get my hands dirty, then I might get boneless. Like if it is tossed in like barbecue sauce or tossed in buffalo, and I'm like, dude, I just don't want to get all
sticky.
sticky.
The wings that you got the other day were just dry rub.
Yeah, they're just dry rub.
I like dry rub, but I've always got to get tossed. Even when I call Buffalo Wild Wings, I say extra wet. I didn't even know that for the longest time.
You're nasty.
You nasty boy.
You nasty.
I say I want that extra wet. And I say okay. And it's just like swimming in the sauce. It's great.
Of course.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I love breaking down the films. I love watching the games, but the off season's fun too. It's nice. It's entertaining. So we had a basketball game yesterday.
Yeah. This is like the first actual watch that I've had this year because because it's like leading up to it. Is it good? Are they good? Are we into SEC play yet? And then it's like, okay, here's your real test. Even though Kentucky hasn't been doing great, it's still like, this is our biggest rival in basketball, I would say for sure.
Yeah. No, and I, like I've said on this podcast, I was so locked in to, the Grant and Animal team when they were juniors. I mean, I would watch, Tuesday night, doesn't matter. Thursday night, I'm watching it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who they're playing. And then the next year, I'm watching all the games. And I'm just living and breathing and dying by every game.
Do you think it's the characters on the team?
No, hold on. And then last year, I'm still there, like maybe not as locked in as those two teams, but then I'm still locked in, watching a good amount. This year, I'm like, I don't really care. I care, but I don't care enough to sit down and be like appointment viewing TV like I was. And it does not have to do with the characters. It does not because like, oh, I love watching Grant play or I love watching Admiral play. It's not that.
Yeah. It's
simply the fact that I think I've just been worn down by
getting somewhere and then not like finishing.
Right. So it's like, and listen, I'm not going to be the one. I still have a buddy who's like, no, we still don't do anything in March. Last year, we did do something in March.
Yeah.
Winning the SEC tournament was a big deal. Big deal. I mean, we hadn't done it since like 77, 78, whatever.
Exactly.
And that is still winning a tournament.
Yeah.
And they did it, and I was very happy about that. But then you go and lose second round to not very good Michigan team. And it's just like, I honestly feel like my body is just like, it's just worn down from it. It's like, I can't keep like being locked in like this. And football was such a fun season. And sometimes I don't even think like I'm a defensive guy, but sometimes these brand of basketball is not even like that fun to watch.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I've watched a couple games, like maybe like when we played Kansas over Thanksgiving, I watched like the last 10 minutes of that. And then there's some other games where I maybe catch the last little bit. And I'm obviously always score checking and watching a little bit, making sure we're winning.
Yeah, and I also think it is because, and I said this previous off seasons, when football is bad, you're fans, we are dying for good play. And it doesn't matter what sport it is. We're dying for it. I mean, bro, I remember when I was in school, the softball team made it to College World Series. Everybody was watching it. Yeah. And it's who watches softball right now? Nobody.
Right.
But we were bad as a football team. We were 5-7 for 3 years in a row. So it was we're going to lean on other sports that are doing well. So I think football being back takes away from it.
Agreed. I think that's a good point. And the other thing is too, is some of those bad years whether it was Butch or Pruitt or whoever, towards the end of the year, I'm the biggest diehard Tennessee fan, but I've said it multiple times. If you're trash, I'm not watching y'all.
No.
It's just when the Titans are 2-4.
Why would I watch? Yeah,
I'm not wasting a Sunday to watch a 2-14 Titans team. I'm still very locked in. I still look at everything, read everything. Maybe watch a condensed game, but I'm not wasting my Sunday on that.
It was also back in those days, you want me to watch a 4-7 Tennessee play a 4-7 Vanderbilt?
Right. Right.
No thanks.
Yeah, I'm gonna be obviously keeping up with it and checking, but I'm not gonna be sitting there and appointment viewing. And so here's the other thing. This is such a massive cliche, but it's actually really true for me. And it's such a lame thing to say, but I really found it to be true. I hate losing more than I enjoy winning.
Yeah.
And it's because I am so competitive that usually when I go into stuff, I know pretty well that I have a chance to win. And so it's if I'm going in and I'm okay, I have the better partner in golf. And I know that I can at least play with their, their B or C player.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I know we should win that. And then if we do, I'm okay, I expected it. I'm a little bit happy. Same thing with pick up hoops, Xbox, when I was playing intramural flag or adult flag football. And then, even when we were Catholic for all those years, it was winning just becomes normal. And so it's you win and you're all right, good win, boys, dap up, you're happy, and then you keep going. But then when I lose and I'm not supposed to, that shit
ruins your week.
Seriously, that shit eats at me.
Yeah.
No joke. Being over here in Nashville, the last time when I stopped playing a men's league flag football, we won the championship one year, and it was so much fun. It was a blast, and we all took it, serious and stuff. And it was great because we took it serious, but we weren't the team that we beat that had plays, practice, all that. But it was so funny because then the next year we're coming back to repeat, and we ended up losing the playoffs. And I kid you not, I was for a week straight, So it's so now I incorporate that into this year's basketball team or even this year's football team. I was when the
South Carolina game hurt way more than the joy of the Alabama game. Well, I don't know.
Well, I would say once we beat Pitt, we beat Florida, and then it's we go, and I felt really good going into Bama.
Yeah.
And we still, you still believe it when you see it.
Yeah.
But it's I was so happy and so joyful. But maybe the South Carolina was still hurt worse than the joy of Bama. That one's a tough one. But, But yes, but usually it's
because even the letdown of Georgia, it was that stinks, but Georgia is defending national champions. We still have a chance to make the playoffs.
Right.
It didn't feel as bad.
Yeah, the Georgia one was more kind of annoying because I was I don't think we played our best ball.
Yeah.
I think if we played them on a neutral side or obviously in Knoxville or whatever. But yeah, to tie all that in, it's when your team is good and they're good. For the Titans last year, when I was even we had all those injuries, I knew that they were the number one seed in the AFC.
Yeah.
So it's when they would lose to a team they weren't supposed to, even with injuries, it would bother me. It would bother me because I got used to okay, we stacked this win. And it was with those Barnes teams, when I was watching all those regular season games, I'm okay, we stacked this win. we stacked this win. And then if we did lose on the road, I was like kind of pissed because we probably shouldn't have. No, basketball's tough because you play so many games.
It's also like, and we'll talk about this, overreaction. It's like in a basketball regular season, like you can lose games. Like it's okay.
Agreed. And it's also like, sometimes your shots just aren't falling. Yesterday, we missed multiple multiple layups and like multiple different things. And obviously, I know we weren't getting to the rack as much as, we weren't getting to the line as much as Kentucky, which you can argue, hey, they were playing better defense and going straight up, or hey, maybe we weren't as attacking as much, or hey, maybe the refs were not great, whatever you want to argue.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like this year, and to tie it in is what I realized. So most of the years past, Kentucky's always really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And Tennessee is maybe not that great, and we're building the program up. And it's kind of our Super Bowl. It's like, if we can beat them, then that's kind of our Super Bowl. Well, bro, now our basketball team's so good, kind of like when we were with Pearl, like I expect to win those, or I expect to split, and I expect to see them in the postseason. So like, this isn't our Super Bowl anymore. So it's like, it's not a big deal. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well,
because now we're at the level where we're a top 5 team consistently the past 3 to 4 years. So it's like us beating Kentucky in January isn't the same to when they had John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins and Tennessee was like 18-12.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, and the thing is, honestly, like, I always want to beat Kentucky. You always want to beat Kentucky. You always want to beat Vandy. You always want to beat Florida. You want to. Like, when I sit to watch a game, I always want to win. But, like, if you lose, it's like, bro, like, I think Kentucky sweep us this year. That means we go to the Final Four or the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like, it would be the same as, like, Ohio State fans being like, yeah, great, we'll lose to Michigan. If that means we get a national championship out of it, then they would have been okay with that.
Because all you ever really all you ever remember is the actual winners, but I don't remember maybe who was in the Final Four last year.
No.
But you remember who won it. But as a Tennessee fan, we would remember like, oh, Tennessee was in the Final Four in 2021 or whatever.
Yeah, and then we would go, remember when everyone said that we were dead and this was the worst loss of Rick Barnes' career, and then he went on to get into the Final Four? We'd be like, how dumb do they look?
Well, we don't even need to make the Final Four for how dumb. I mean, when I saw that yesterday on Twitter, I was like, this is so stupid. And that's why I always say fan is short for fanatic, because you're acting like a crazy person. I mean, I couldn't, and I don't know if people really believe that or they're going for shock value. And I don't know who those guys were. It says they're like in some sort of meet or whatever. I didn't really know.
The worst loss of his career?
I mean, that's insane to me. It's a January 12 o'clock game. And we didn't play well at all. And listen, you can't fake desperation. And my boss at the company I work for is a huge Kentucky fan, massive Kentucky fan. And I told him on Friday, I said, you guys got blasted. Then you lose at home and get blasted or whatever. I said, this is a perfect spot for you guys, or for you guys. Like, I was like, Cal's going to have those like, hey, no one believes in us. We're supposed to get killed, play all that up, backs against the wall. They said it on the pregame or the pregame right before the kick, like, hey, we burn the ships. It's just us, like all those sports cliches, but it is true. Like, you can't fake desperation. And it was a perfect storm. And I feel like, not to take a shot at certain people, but I feel like certain people, or definitely certain media members that didn't necessarily play sports, they don't understand how that works.
It's like, this isn't Vandy team that is just like a mediocre, losing every now and then, This team is built to be very good. They have 5 stars all over the place.
Yeah.
It was literally just everything else. So if you already have all the talent you need, it's just a little push. Yeah. It's just a little guy in the right direction, and it fixes itself fast.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, like, we're still ahead of them in the standings in the SEC. We're still ahead of them in standings and like ranking polls. Like,
we play them again.
Yeah. It's not like they're taking over our seeding in the SEC tournament or taking a spot away from us in March. Like, we're okay.
They had to have that win I mean, with all the talks about Cal getting fired, which by the way is so stupid.
It's so
I don't like Cal, but like Kentucky, what are you thinking?
I mean, but
like he's I mean, like he's a great coach. Like,
he is a great coach,
and like
he is a great coach. But he only has one.
But that's my point. Like for me personally, in just a fantasy land, like I'm only getting rid of Cal if I can have like Tom Izzo or like
But
I mean, maybe only that. Maybe Tom Izzo's the only guy I'm taking. I mean, Coach K is not around anymore. Plus, I don't like it. The
only reason I think to bring this up is because we've argued about this before, and now you're on the right side of it. But Georgia firing Mark Richt and going with Kirby Smart.
That's not it. Cal's so much more proven than Mark Richt ever was. Cal's a national championship winning coach. You can't argue that. It's that they're Kirby Smart is Cal. Cal is Kirby. So, like, they got rid of they got rid of Tubby Smith or Gillespie, whoever it was there. They got their Cal. So that's my point. It's like, Kentucky fans, stop. And that's what I mean. Like, fans are fanatics. They don't think rationally. So they literally have Coach Cal, who is not doing good to start this year, and they want him gone, even though he – and I know he might be having a rough patch, and they lost last year to St. Peter's and stuff like that, but that's basketball. Like, it's tough. So, I don't know. The last thing I'll say about the basketball game is, like, well, I mean, it was the first time I watched. Euros is still very frustrating. I mean, he had his best statistic game the other day.
Yeah. It felt like offensively – that was the way to get things going, was to feed him down low.
Which is insane.
And it doesn't make sense. No, I was like, how does this work?
Right. And they have Oscar Tshiebwe, and Euros is a clown.
And I think Oscar, is he small for a 5? You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he's necessarily small, but I mean, Euros is a legit 7-footer. Yeah. So. Where it just felt like the size advantage Euros did have, but Euros is a liability on defense.
Oh, it's insane.
Euros,
he's just so slow.
He's so slow. He can't help that. He's a freaking massive individual. Yao Ming was slow.
Yeah.
Boban is slow.
Yeah.
All those big guys that are just too big for their own good, they're slow.
Yeah. Give Euros his credit. I mean, do you have some baby hooks?
Yeah, they were beautiful.
I mean, he had 16, 17, 18 points or whatever. I mean, that's awesome. I think his antics still bother me. And I think Tennessee got lucky to not be called for some fouls where he's just shoving Oscar Tshiebwe. He grabbed someone else. I was so happy when I heard a couple weeks ago and Barnes was he's got to stop his antics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's going to do something stupid and get a foul called or whatever, and he is a liability on defense. But like I said, I was still very impressed with him offensively. I think what bothers me about this Tennessee team is we're so deep, but sometimes in basketball you just need 1 or 2 guys that you can go to every night. And I get it. Someone could come to me and say, well, Reed, we got 4 or 5 guys that can maybe do it every night. Maybe one night it's Santi. Maybe one night it's Double Z. One night it's Josiah. Maybe another night Julian Phillip. I mean, whoever. And then Olivier Kumwa had it the other night against South Carolina or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's but then when I'm watching, I'm it's perfect to bring up. We don't have a Chris Lofton on the team.
Mm-mm.
We don't have even I know last year, which is amazing to me that some people wanted to say that Zakai Ziegler was better than Kenny Chandler. Kenny Chandler could still take over a basketball game when he needed to.
Yeah.
He could get to the rack when he needed to. And Zakai can really get to the rack when he wants to. And that's what I was saying yesterday. I wanted Tyree Key. I wanted Josiah Jordan-James. I wanted
Zakai.
Yeah, to get to the rack and get in the paint.
Yeah.
Either get in the paint and finish, get in the paint and do a little jump shot. I love when Josiah Jordan-James or Santi does that little jump shot, or get in there, draw, and then kick out to a wide open 3. Because Ziegler did that the other day.
Or if Uris is down there moving around, it's
they did that one time.
Yeah, just
dish.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think offensively is just where I know they didn't play well. They still should have won the game if they just hit some baby layups.
Literally layups, they would have won that game.
But I think you get what I'm saying. It's a double-edged sword. It's hey, we got multiple guys can do it, but sometimes I'm you got 5, you got none. You know what I mean? It's when they say about quarterbacks, if you got 2 quarterbacks, you don't have any.
Yeah, exactly. It was tough just watching that at the end when we're missing opportunities, we're missing layups,
it hurts.
It hurts. That last possession, I was like, what's the point? I mean, it was Vescovi just going into the lane. We're down by 3.
Yeah.
Where shot clock and game clock are almost aligned. We can have the last shot.
Yeah. And
you take off with 20 some seconds left on the clock, down 3. It's like, hey, chill, get a play set up. Maybe you can score with some time left, but no matter what, if you score a 2, they can run the ball. They can run the clock down all the way unless you foul them.
Yeah.
Right. So it just didn't seem like they were prepared because even after they missed, they didn't foul right away. I'm like, are you guys ready for this last moment where you're down 3, where you have these scenarios that are going on? I just felt like,
remember how much time was left?
It literally, when they got the ball, there was like 26 seconds left. In the shot clock, it was like a second difference.
See, so I would probably disagree with you, and it's I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, but if there's 26 seconds left, my team's down 3, I'm totally cool now. If you can drive in and kick out and get a wide open 3, fine. But I'm fine with extending the game. For me, basketball, extend it. Get a shot. Now it's within 1. Make them hit their free throws. But I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and I didn't feel like Vescovi driving to the basket by himself
was the best shot. Sure, and that's fine. You can and I think that's the thing because Santi, Tyree Key, Zakai, Josiah Jordan-James, even Juwan Phillips, are we real? I mean, they kind of all are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You either going to be happy that they all can do. I mean, who would you pick if you don't want Santi doing it? Who are you going to pick?
No, I'm not saying I don't want Santi doing it. I'm saying don't do it by yourself.
Okay.
He literally just did it by himself. I don't even think everybody was back.
I see what your point is.
And it was just like go, and then he missed, and then everyone stood there and played defense. Yeah. And I'm like, they can literally run out the clock.
Yeah.
The shot clock is not on anymore.
Yeah.
Foul them. It just felt like no one was prepared for what they were supposed to be doing.
I see what you're saying now. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
and that aggravated me. Yeah. And there was other times earlier in the game, coming back on defense where it's just no one's communicating who their guy is. You're set up to play man defense. And no one's like, I got him. And then there's just dudes from Kentucky, here you go. Yeah. Wide open.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for being a defensive team,
we have many.
I'm I should be able to hear you on the TV copy. Yelling.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, we do that in pickup. I got Dumpy Bud over here. You know what I mean? I got him. Him.
How Ziegler got it stolen from behind him, and then I was just thinking, no one yelled wolf to him.
No, yeah, no one yelled, "Hey, on your behind!" No one warned him for anything.
Yeah, but it's a long season. Like I said, Kentucky out rebounded. They like I said, they play more desperate. You can't fake desperation. That's why you always see NBA teams in these series and a team's up, 3-1.
And an alarming stat: 65% as a team on free throw percentage for the year so far.
It's horrendous.
You're not winning shit if that's what your free throw percentage is. This is obviously a trend.
Yeah.
Since it's the team average, I mean. I'm 30 minutes at least of practice is every single fucking person is shooting free throws.
Yeah. Yeah. It
has to be.
Stay after.
You have to.
Yeah. Yeah, because that really hurts your offensive. Me, I'm a big drive in because I love driving in because you can either finish, dish out, or get fouled.
Yeah.
And so, if you're not hitting the free throws, but they also got out rebounded by 20 something. So I don't know, long season. We'll see what happens. I'll check back in a month.
We'll be okay.
Let's talk football.
Yeah, let's talk transfers.
We're going to hit on some transfers. So we'll the people that departed, because we're going to talk quick about those before we talk about these guys that we got. Okay, so Tayven Jackson, totally understand it, totally makes sense, and I'm happy for him.
Yeah, he wants to play. He wants to get playing time. He goes to Indiana, which I think he can go right away and play.
Agreed.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of pushback. And I think he saw what Nico was and how special Nico was to the coaching staff and everything that it looked like. And he's like, this guy's younger than me. He's going to go in after Joe. if something were to happen to Joe during the season or the next year, like I know that I'm already behind the 8 ball.
It's also like in pro football. Like Tayven was like the guy that got drafted like 5th round.
Yeah.
And now they just took
first round.
Now they just took first round.
Yeah.
So it's like Nico is going to have to be horrendous and Taven's going to have to play amazing.
Exactly.
Just because of the money that's invested, no pun intended.
Exactly.
Exactly. So anyways, I'm happy for Taven. Go home.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And I wanted nothing but success.
Now this opens up the, in your theory of like anybody can have success in Heupel's offense. We have 2 scholarship quarterbacks right now.
They'll bring another one in.
And I just hope that they do. The only thing that makes me feel good is our 3rd string guy, who's a walk-on, played under Heupel at UCF. Played under Heupel at UCF. So it's kind of like they've worked together for a long time.
Yeah.
So he knows who he is. He knows what kind of player he is. He knows what he can get away with him at quarterback. So it's like, okay, that makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, they need to bring in another grad that kind of like knows their role. And you know what? Maybe a grad doesn't come in because he's like,
I'm not going to play.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll we'll see what happens because two starting caliber. Well, really, we have 1 starting caliber. And like we saw Joe play well in 1 game.
Yeah.
Nico's never taken a snap. I mean, that's pretty iffy.
Yeah. I literally do not give a shit how great you were in high school. It is a different game.
Yeah.
Like it completely is. You're running a different offense. You have different calls. You have to keep up with different things. In high school, they'll give quarterbacks 1-word plays.
Yeah.
And they don't have to, that wide receiver's not running an option route. He is running a corner. You know that for sure.
Right.
Now we got option routes. Now defenses are shifting as you go. They're not just set up in cover 3.
Right.
So it's like everything moves a lot faster.
Yeah. So, we'll see. Well, hopefully they'll bring somebody else in and maybe add some of that depth. And he says, hey, you know what? You and Joe can battle it out and see what happens. And then if Joe wins it, then you are number 2 and they leave Nico at 3. Unless Nico is really just that dude, so.
He might just be.
And we get to see in a couple weeks. Walker Merrill going to Wake Forest.
Yeah, which, with their kind of explosive offense, like it makes sense. If I would have heard this 5 years ago, I'd been like, why the hell did he pick Wake Forest? Like, that makes no sense. But I think they are transitioning more into the offensive side of the ball.
Dave Clawson, they throw it all the time.
Yeah, I wonder what made him ultimately choose that, if it was like an NIL thing or possibly just like, this is the best offer I've gotten.
Yeah.
And how long do you wait? Like, how long do you wait for the offers to come in? Like, do you need to jump on it right away so that, someone else doesn't get taken away from you? I mean, you got to play your hand smart.
It's funny you say this because I was thinking the same thing. Like, I would love to have Walker just like, okay, so like, what's up? Like, did you not hear from as many people as you thought?
Yeah.
You heard from a lot of people, but you felt most comfortable. Maybe Dave Clawson went all in on you. I mean, Sam Hartman just left. Yeah. He's going to Notre Dame. So, like, I don't know who the other quarterback's going to be Wake Forest, but he's going to have a chance to put up some really nice numbers, just like he would have at Tennessee. Mm-hmm. So, like, I'm happy for him. It's also a good school.
Yeah, it is. It's a great school.
It's a good spot for him to go, and I will be excited to see how he does.
And he's not that far away from Nashville. Right. He can go back in a day.
Yeah. And then lastly, we had Juwan Mitchell enter. I don't think it's really surprising. I really think like.
I mean, did he really believe he wasn't going to start this coming year? That's what he had to believe.
But here's the other thing too about Juwan, and it's the same thing with Jeremy Banks. Like both of them, I'm not gonna say baggage, but both of them had other stuff going on in their lives. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know them personally, so that's why I'm not calling it baggage. Like, I don't know what else it is.
Yeah.
But, like, Jeremy came in, then he wasn't on the team, then he was back, and he did well, but then there's the South Carolina rumors, and then he doesn't play in the bowl game. It's like, hey, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then Juwan, like, I remember when he first committed to Tennessee, then like he went dark, no one heard about him. They're like, we hope he's going to show up. Then he shows up. Then the whole time he's been there, like I thought he's been okay and been fine.
I think he also like got in trouble with the law at Texas too, or something.
He got into it with the coaching staff. But like I said, when Juwan was here, I was like, okay, I think he's going to be pretty darn good. And then he was fine. He was never as good as I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, and then the injury set him back.
Right. I was going to say, and then he wasn't as available, as much as hopefully. But like for him, I hope he goes somewhere and enjoys his last year, gets healthy, maybe tries to have a shot at, something else. I hope nothing for the best for him. But like, I think this room is a much better room than it was 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, a month ago. You got a lot of good young guys.
Mm-hmm.
And now your older guys are Aaron Beasley, who it seems like does everything right.
Yeah.
And then you're going to bring in Keenan Hill, which is, dude's 25. He's married, like going to be very, very mature, going to be very knowledgeable of the game. He's a team captain. So like whether I think that he's going to be a good player or not, he's a good veteran. So like when you're walking into that linebacker room, it's like, wow, we got some young dogs. We got some real fresh young pups, that are the freshmen.
Real fresh.
Yeah, and then you got your senior guys that can lead the way and show how to practice.
Yeah, I'm not going to be alarmed if freshmen play this year.
No, I'm not either. But I just think it's like that stuff matters. Like it really, really does. So like some people, now if I go into a room, I feel like
having an old guy in the room matters a lot.
No, agreed. But what I was going to say is like depending on the type of caliber of older guy.
Yeah,
I've been around teams where some of the better players and some of the older guys were just kind of shitheads. Well, some of younger shitheads see what they're doing and they kind of take that way.
Yeah.
They can be somewhat of a headache to deal with and cause friction within the team. But then if you got really good older guys that have good leadership and handle their stuff the right way, then maybe that takes a guy that had that potential shithead qualities about him, like, hey, I'm going to really lock in. Like, I see what's up.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's like that room, I think, got better, even if it's not better on the field. Because I'm not going to knock what Jeremy Banks did on the field, and Juwan had some moments, but and I haven't seen Keenan Hill play yet, but I'm fine with what the room looks like.
Yeah, I am too. I'm not like worried now that Juwan's gone.
Yeah, no, I'm not either.
Juwan was there to fill a space when Henry left,
right?
And it's like, we figured it out now.
Yeah.
Okay. So guys coming in that all on last Monday. Let's start with the big offensive lineman.
Go ahead.
John Campbell coming from Miami, 6'5", 320. He started all last year. Started, I think, about half the games the year before. I see good things. I also see bad things. And I'm going to start with this. If you were to ask me this year, watching film, watching games, looking at John Campbell starting left tackle at Miami versus the starting left tackles we had, I'm picking Mincy and Jeremiah over him.
Yeah.
So right now, he's behind both of them. So
if he stays playing
left,
right.
So I need to see more out of him. I've already seen what Mincy can do and what Jeremiah can do, and it's impressive. And they don't get beat like easy beat. They don't get run around the edge. They don't get push pull. They don't get stabbed in the face and they give up sacks. Like that doesn't really happen to them a lot. Somebody's going to have to move to right to take over Darnell's spot. I don't know who's going to be the most comfortable. John seems like one of those guys who can only play left.
Really?
That's what it exudes from him. Now, you cannot tell, obviously, from just looking at someone's one game that someone played. I watched him versus Clemson. But from my experience in watching guys, he seems like one of those dudes who has always played left tackle, played it in high school, played it in middle school, and is so used to it that if you threw him at right, he'd be like, oh, God.
Yeah.
So I think there's things that he needs to work on. He's a huge body. He is decent enough to be a placeholder if someone's helmet pops off, if they get a concussion, they're out a couple games. Like, he is good enough. He has starts. in a Power 5 conference.
Right.
But he's not coming in and taking Mincy's spot. He's not coming in and taking Jeremiah's spot right away. He's got to work for that. And then we also have younger tackles that have already been in it for a minute. So I love adding offensive linemen always adding depth and adding competition. I know that Mincy is like, I'm ready to show out in front of everybody this year. I follow him on social media. I mean, he'll comment under Vol football videos and be like, we're winning it this year. Or like, cannot wait for August. Like, he's like gung-ho about being that dog this year. And if John Campbell comes in and has a good, drill here or there, does a few good one-on-ones, and the coach is like, hell yeah, John, that's what I'm talking about. You immediately, as someone in the same position, like, nah.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not letting him take over what I got.
There's new kids.
Yeah, definitely not. So it makes your game step up. Yeah. So that's why I like it the most.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like you said, big time. It's a good program. He's coming from the ACC. He's a great size guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said on here before, I really like Mincy and I really like Jeremiah Crawford. And I was worried about both of them. Like what, because I didn't know.
I had no idea.
And then I see Mincy when we go to, I don't know if it was summer we went to, or it might have been spring we went last year. He wasn't practicing.
Yeah, it's spring. He had an ankle.
And we were like, dude's a massive man.
Yeah, for sure.
But I love the way he plays. I was very happy with the offensive line a lot this year.
Definitely.
And so, like you said, reps, competition. He is a big guy. He's been around. Like, he knows it. So I'm fine with that. I you know how I am. I mean, he's been around the program a long time. I mean, 2018 was coming out of high school, but he had Miami, he had Bama, he had Auburn. I mean, he had Florida, he had Georgia, he had LSU, he had Michigan. I mean, Ohio State. Tennessee. I mean, it looked like he took a visit. It was says here he was by Robert Gillespie. I mean, dude has laundry list of offers.
And here's another thing that kind of makes you like feel good about where we're at. He is leaving Miami, the legend of Miami, another Power 5 team, not because he doesn't get to play, because they're bad.
Yeah.
He wants to be on a good team.
Right.
He might not even get to play for us. He would start at Miami again.
Yeah.
He has to fight to get a spot with us.
Yeah,
he knows that a right tackle position is open.
Yeah.
He's played left.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the real reason to transfer here is because it's the SEC and this is a good team.
Maybe Miami said deuces.
Their starting left tackle. Yeah. I mean,
That's
guys are
ballsy.
I know you guys were bad this year, but
not good. But yeah, I didn't watch really any of his stuff. I left that to you. I was more focused on the other guys, which I watched a good amount of their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm fine with it. It will be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting.
I can't wait to watch practice. I can't wait to see.
I was saying this the other day on the other pod, and then I think you interrupted and got me sidetracked. Thanks.
Like I got to do that myself. You do it. You do it all the time to yourself.
Wait, what are we talking about right now?
Yeah, exactly.
But Cooper, and then having, like I said, Mincy and Jeremiah Crawford,
Spraggs,
and having Spraggs back, and so you got the two openings. But it's like, whoa! Like, I'm just saying, off sheer size and ability from what I saw, like Ashton Nichols still around. I mean, is he going to really sit a whole other year, or is he going to play hard?
I could see that.
Right. Or it's like, so don't forget about him. It's like,
I would love to see that.
Yeah. And so it's like, there's some of these other, now some of the guys besides Addison, I mean, he was the highest ranked also because what I saw with my own eyes, I'm like, I mean, he looked like
he was playing out of position at center and he looked like he really looked like he was ready to play. Yeah.
So, and so you kind of add some of those pieces. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
Okay, do you want to do the defensive lineman or the wide receiver?
So I watch both of these a lot. I will go with who I really like the most, and
Let's finish with the one you like the most.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about Dante Thornton.
Okay.
Because I love me some big boys in the middle.
Yes.
So listen, Dante Thornton, it was nice. I got to watch. So I watched basically every catch he basically had because he had there was highlight videos on him on YouTube, but then I went back and watched the condensed highlight game summaries.
Yeah.
It was funny because like sometimes I watched him and then there's other plays and it was like I felt like I was watching two different receivers. Because like one time he's beating a guy deep and he looks like he's Jalen Hyatt running by someone and he's fast as hell, looking good. And then another time he'd catch one kind of underneath and like wasn't super explosive. And then he would catch another one underneath and like kind of take off. And it was like, I know dude's a blazer because he's leaving people.
Yeah, he definitely is.
It's just like maybe he's a little bit taller, so he doesn't look.
I think
like
it's harder, like when he got into the tight, like middle of the field, for him to like really get going.
Yeah, and so that's always, like I said, that's just a me thing. Like I'm always so used to seeing, like a Tyreek Hill or some these little legs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it was really much like straight ahead speed, and he's got good size.
Which is like, dude, this is exactly what fits our offense.
Right. And so I'm like, so there's a couple things I'm like, this is Jalen Hyatt 2.0, but 4 inches taller, 3 inches taller, like just as fast. I'm like
6'5", 197.
And maybe, has better, like, not saying his moves in the open field are great, but they're better than Jalen.
He has some damn good ball skills, though.
Yes,
I like the one they were playing Utah, tracking the ball, and he had to turn all the way back around to catch it. Yeah,
sick. He had some really nice hand catches. So he had that one that he had to adjust to. He's had some that he went up and caught. Yes, like, and the funny thing is I just feel like Tennessee for the next foreseeable future is really like you're going to get recruited here. And you're either going to be a starter or a rotational player, and that means you'll be a player. And then we're going to every year it's probably going to be one guy that's going to be a transfer who's a really good player coming in. It's it's like we're going to
Devontae Payton, Velus Jones, Brew McCoy. Now we got it's just
so it's like you're going to have your homegrown, but it's like every offseason because if there's a really good guy out there and they want to come to Tennessee. Tennessee's going to take them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the other thing is, like, as long as we keep putting up points, Bolitnikoff winner, like, there's no reason that we wouldn't be able to handpick. I'm not going to say the best receiver in the transfer portal, but maybe a top 5 or 8 one.
Yeah. And I mean, looking at it right now, you would trade Walker Merrill for this guy, wouldn't you?
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's
I'm not even talking that way. I'm just talking about, like, it's just gonna be every year we're gonna have another guy who's going to be an impact player the next year. And you just named off who I was going to name off. So that's what's exciting. But I mean, there's no reason not to like him. I mean, I think he can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you have Squirrel and you have Ramel and you have Brew and you have this guy and then maybe one other one that kind of pokes his head up a little bit, I have no negatives. And there wasn't even any negatives in his film that I watched. Like I thought,
during that Utah game, he lost the ball a couple times, but it's also like it's like you have 2 fumbles on the year that were both in the same game. It's like you were having a little bit of the yips. It's not a consistent thing,
right? So
like he got it stripped once, and then it was like a design reverse kind of thing, and they flipped it to him, and he dropped it.
Yeah.
It's just. I'm not going to hold that against him. I'm not going to be like, that's the player you are. And we're not going to make him do double reverses in the backfield.
Right.
Like, that's not who he is. That's who Squirrel is.
Right.
Like we got that covered. You just run your streak.
Right.
I want you running corners, posts, streaks.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And he's a great size body if you do want him to come and, like
those digs.
Right. And that's exactly what I was going to say is like, because he's a big body, so throw a slant to him, throw a dig to him. And like, when I watched him, like I said, I thought he caught with his hands well. He adjusted well, good ball skills. Like I thought his routes were fine. I mean, there was a couple times where he was just like finding his zone and just kind of sitting in it. But he definitely didn't come across as one trick pony. And you can go watch his film. Like he has catches of everything.
Yeah.
we got to stop saying this, but we'll be excited to see him in practice.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I'm happy with it. Bring me every year another guy who can be a game changer at receiver.
Yeah, obviously. It should be a constant every single offseason. Who that was a big guy, coming out of high school, went to a school, and their offense isn't great. And he wants to.
It's funny he's leaving Oregon. That's what's funny because, I think they were overrated. I don't think they're that great, but they kind of had a decent season.
They lost 2 games.
I think they lost 3. And they have Bo Nix and all this.
And he's
nonsense.
back again.
And it's so why is he leaving? It's because I think you'd rather go to, pick Tennessee over Oregon.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that, but. And he had a pretty good. I like going back. He was a 4-star. Coming out. Maybe he wants to get a little bit closer home. He's an East Coast guy. But yeah, solid offers. He's got Auburn, Florida State, Florida, Georgia. Great offers actually. Michigan, Notre Dame. Yeah. Laundry list.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, he was recruited to Tennessee, so there's. Maybe
that was part of his decision.
Texas, this laundry list. This is insane, actually. So that's 2 for 2 that's having really good offers coming out. And then, so lastly, to finish up the pod,
Omarr Norman-Lott.
Yes, and he made it very easy for me.
6'3", 290.
But if you just go to his Twitter page, this dude had film from practice. He had film of games. I watched some of their condensed, and I really like him.
Yeah.
He was
more of a rotational player.
He is, and that's fine. But when he was in there, I thought he gave great effort. I thought he played like a damn bowling ball.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he had good leverage.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was disruptive. There's times where they're trying to pull. And when he sees his guy leaving, he's cutting and just screwing the whole play up in the backfield. He had a lot of Deshaun Terry in him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There were a lot of times when I was trying to watch the Arizona State, previous games. Obviously, they were bad this year.
Right.
Where it was some of their defensive linemen were getting to the backfield, and it would still be a 10-yard run because their linebackers were not filling. I was like, what the hell's going on?
It's funny you say that because I actually thought some of their D-line play was kind of nice.
Yeah.
There were some times that they were, kind of whipping some dudes.
Yeah.
And so, but like I said, I watched a lot of it. I enjoyed watching it. It was a nice note. He kind of has that, when you're on film, he plays with good leverage, so it kind of looks like a bowling ball, but everything's coming in, wrecking people, getting back there, didn't make the tackle, he was still.
Now, this is me, and this might be the offensive lineman in me. I wish he was a little heavier. I think at 290, unless you're powerful on a double team, you can get moved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Amari was a good 320, 325, thick legs kind of thing. Like you said, he is a bowling ball.
It's funny. I'm watching some of these again, and it is funny because a lot of where he's having good success is, like I said, if the lineman's trying to get the head across of him and he's beating him to the spot. Mm-hmm. A lot of these are one-on-one beats.
Exactly. If we got a double team, if you're getting a guard tackle, they're going to take you out the club.
And the thing about that is he can also, use his speed, use his hands. So you don't have to be 310.
Figure out your leverage first, then your ability to get tiny, get small, split guys. Yeah. There are so many offensive linemen that don't have the best cohesion together when they're in on those blocks. That was one of the main things that I tried to concentrate on when I was playing tackle is any kind of double team at the backside linebacker or backside of zone. I'm on a B block is what we called it with my guard is there is no space between us. There is nothing. For them to turn. We are tight. There is nothing between us. I would be on my guard's ass cheek before I would attack the defensive lineman. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
I would get on his butt cheek, then transition into the deep.
Yeah, because you see an alleyway, you see a gap.
Yeah, they're gonna get through there and mess up they're gonna make it to where neither of us are getting to the linebacker.
Right.
And it's a free runner at the running back,
right.
which is not what you want. So you have to make sure there's no space between you as offensive lineman. If a defensive lineman can figure that out, if he can figure out how the offensive linemen are coming at them and attack, knowing, oh, this tackle's coming to block me too, I'm going to attack this guard's shoulder and split them.
Right.
It ruins everything for offensive linemen.
I'm telling you, man, I mean, I really enjoy watching these. I'm watching again. I mean, here's one where he comes off and he gets skinny and he beats his guy. He goes in between the guard and tackle and disrupts a pass play. It's like a tip pass.
He had a couple sacks on the season too, and they were also like.
I really I would encourage, go to his YouTube and watch some of these clips, because it's like it's game. He's got game film clips where it's like from the all 22, but like it's a good point, because I've not seen him get through a double team yet. But when he's one-on-one, he's powerful. He uses his hands well.
He's got a great bull rush.
Yes, yeah. He blocked. He sheds his blocks well. And to me, it also looks like he has a good motor.
Yeah.
Because on one of these sacks, he misses a sack, gets up. On one of his run plays, where I was talking about on one of his run plays, and the guy's trying to get ahead across, he just shoots right down the line and just wrecks it.
Yeah. It was also big moments, his sacks. One sack was third or fourth down right before half. So he stopped the drive. Then the next one was a big third and long while they're backed up in their end zone, and Arizona State needed points. And he gets the sack on that second effort. So it was like showing up when he needed to at the right moments.
I mean, and like you said, if he's just a rotational guy, hell, there's really not many starters. I mean, our starters.
It's not like they rotate. Every defensive line rotates.
Right. So it's that's not a problem. But I mean, you had him to come in, and you still got. I mean, I think our D line's in great shape. I mean, obviously, maybe add a little bit more, just for depth purposes. But I mean, you got Big Omarr, you get Sean Terry, you have Tyler Barron again, which has played a lot on that inside interior. You have him. I mean, I'm telling you, there's just a lot of these plays I'm really happy with, because of everything, the levers, the hands, the effort, the finish. His finish is good. Like, I mean, he just absolutely ate this boy up on a run play. Like, and that's the other thing too. He's like, I've seen it on run and pass. Yeah. So big Omarr fan.
And Rodney just makes me feel so great. Every time we get defensive line, I'm like, I can't wait to see what Rodney does with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, obviously Omarr is willing to work.
Yeah.
Because you got to know that. Yeah. So I'm fired up, and
I'm excited.
Looking at his offer list, this is very much, it's a West Coast offer list. Arizona State, Boise State, Colorado State, and then he's got he's got TCU, Texas A&M, and he's got SC, and UCLA, and he just came out in 2020. So, and he's from Cali, bro. That's kind of wild that he would
come all the way here.
No, that he went to Arizona State. I guess that's probably because Herm Edwards was still there.
So
Herm playing.
Plus, Lincoln wasn't at USC. USC was trash.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm very. Listen. I'm happy that I'm sitting here talking about an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman.
Yeah.
And a wide receiver that is different than what we have. We do not have a 6'4", big, tall body.
Yeah.
Like Bruce.
That's true.
Bruce, good size. Squirrel is, a smaller guy.
Ramel's smaller.
Ramel's, I would say, average size. He's decent size.
Yeah. What is he? 6 foot? 5'11", maybe?
No, I would say he's probably 6 foot. And maybe he looks a little taller because he's thinner. And now I'm not going to call a Squirrel a scat back or a scat, slot guy, because he can do it all, even with his size. But, I'm just sitting here counting. I'm like, there's probably not another position, O-line, D-line, that I'm going to be excited for more than maybe if we get like a dog-ass safety, I would maybe trade a dog-ass safety for a 6'5" receiver, just because I trust Heupel.
Yeah.
And maybe I would say
I mean,
that's probably it, honestly. Because like I was going to say,
because you already feel good. You already feel good about every other position.
Yeah, it's like would I trade like a dog? Say if we could get a really, really legit running back or 6'5".
But it's also like we still have small Jalen and Dylan Sampson.
Right.
Like I'm like, we're good.
They would have to be a absolute.
It would have to be Bijan Robinson.
Right.
Coming.
Exactly. So it's like, if you think about it, who they picked up, it's like, no, okay, offensive lineman, defensive lineman. I'm signing off on it every time. And I like that it's an interior D lineman because I feel very good about our outsides.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy with it. So
very excited.
I'm happy we got those guys. I enjoyed watching their films. And I think all three of them are good pieces.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk about the kicker, but it's nice we got a kicker.
Yeah.
And when and you know what? We'll see how we feel about him.
Exactly.
He better make a kick.
You better make the damn kick. If you get put in another situation like Chase McGrath, then you better make that damn kick.
Make the kick.
Yeah. Then we can talk later. All right. Thank you guys for watching and listening. If you are watching, please like, subscribe, comment. We love the comments. We love to answer them. If you're just listening, rate and review. Leave us 5 stars. Download and re-download. It helps with our numbers so much. Go buy some merch. We have T-shirts now. How we doing, bud? In orange and in white. See it, read. So you can get those in the link below. And follow us on social media at Believe in Tennessee for our main account on Twitter, at rbacon26 for Reed, at Kyler Kerbison for myself on all social medias. And just really appreciate you guys. You're the best. As always, go Vols.